Hi, it's Chef Mike Panja, and today I'm going to do something with you that is extremely practical, useful, and relatively easy. It's a stuffed baked potato. Now, I'm not going to presume to teach you how to make a baked potato. I'm guessing that many of you already know how to make a perfectly fine baked potato, and this recipe starts with a baked potato. So however you make it, that'll be fine. I do it in a microwave personally, and I'm going to show you my technique. But you're welcome to use whatever technique makes you happy. I'm flexible. This adventure actually starts when you're out shopping. You're going to look for the russet potatoes. That's the brown ones with the rough skin. And pick out some that are smooth, that don't have any deep wrinkles or recesses in them. Something like these. I recommend preparing your add-ins before you cook the potatoes. I'm going to cut up some chives. One trick I like to do, gives you half as many cuts necessary, is fold them in half and start at the fold, and you're cutting twice as many with each slice. I want to cut some cheddar cheese into a small dice also. Let's give our potatoes a scrub with a vegetable brush. Before we microwave the potatoes, we should stab them all around with a fork. Then I like to smear them with butter and some kosher salt to stick to the butter. I think it adds to the deliciousness of the whole project. Now I'm going to do my baked potatoes in the microwave. You can do them however you like, as long as we start with baked potatoes. Now halfway through, I want to turn them over and repeat on the second side. I don't want to overdo them, so before I get to the full time on the second side, I check by pressing down. I want to see if they feel like they've softened, and they have, so I'm going to call them done. Once the potatoes have cooled enough to handle, cut them in half the long way. Now, being very gentle, take the point of your paring knife and go down alongside the skin and slice down so we'll be able to scoop the meat of the potato out. Try not to puncture through the skin of the potato while you're doing this. Now, very carefully go into the potato and scoop out the flesh. Try not to damage the skin. We really want to keep that intact as a container. Scoop a little at a time. Now, I said we wanted to allow the potatoes to cool a little, but you want them still warm enough to melt the butter and the cheese. We're not going to melt the cheese, but to soften the cheese a little bit when we add it in. So we don't want the potatoes to be cold. Now I'm going to put in, for this amount of potatoes, I'm going to put in a couple of tablespoons of butter. And that should melt in with the potatoes as we mix. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. And a couple of shakes of garlic powder. Now, Let's stir that all together. See what we get. Okay, that's mixing pretty well. I'm going to put in the chives. And now the butter has melted. The cheese has softened, so I can add in some colder liquid. I'm using half and half. If you're a vegan and you want to stay away, you can use a non-dairy cheese. You can use a non-dairy milk substitute if you like, and that'll keep the thing vegan. I'm using half and half, old school. You want to make it soft, but it still has to have some consistency so you can pack it into the potato skins. That looks about right. Now I'm going to use a tablespoon to pack each of these. Now for the last one, this is entirely optional, but this brings it up to the next level. I'm using a pastry bag with a large French star to fill just one of the potato skins to show you what that looks like. Now I'm going to fill the last one in a more fancy way using the pastry bag. And you see what we get, the fluted design. I'm going to set these in a baking pan, and then we're going to add just a little bit of breadcrumbs to dress them a little bit, and then I'm going to broil them just to brown the breadcrumbs a tiny bit. Now I'm putting these under the broiler just to brown the peaks a little bit. As a rule, when I use the broiler, I leave the oven door cracked. Well, there you have it. And the beauty of this recipe really is in the technique. You can use a lot of different add-ins that would work great with this potato. You can use crumpled up crispy bacon broken into the potato, works really well. You can thicken the whole thing a little bit with the addition of some cream cheese. That works really well. You can use your imagination. Find stuff in your refrigerator or your pantry that you think might work and try it out. Well, I hope this is something you're going to find useful and practical. You can serve it with steaks, chops, of fish, by itself. I mean, there's a lot of ways to use this stuffed baked potato, and I'm sure you'll figure them out. Meanwhile, I hope you've subscribed. If not, please subscribe. You might think about giving me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Don't lie. If you didn't like it, don't do it. Give me a thumbs down if that's how you feel. I won't be mad. I can take it. Well, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.